Welcome to Tea Time with Amie and Bev.
Good morning.
Hello, hello. How's it going, miss?
It is so beautiful out today. We've been having rains on and off and nice breezes, and the temperature cooled down quite a bit. Super awesome. I'm in a good space.
You're in a good space?
This moment is wonderful.
This moment is awesome. I'm sitting here with this.
Oh,
Give you a little visual what it says. It says you're amazing. You make the world a better place just by being in it. Okay, I got it. I'm trying to read it backwards. So.
Got it. Perfect.
And another size, big old butterfly.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I thought the saying was on both sides. That's so hilarious. I
And
love
it's
it.
huge. Look at my hand.
I know you said it. It's weightlifting.
That's
how you said that. That's your warm up.
It is. Like I do this in the morning before I go work out, and I'm already exhausted.
That's funny. Whatever.
Too fun. So thank you. This was a gift from Bev for my birthday. And so the cup I've been using for having a cup of coffee, right? In this cup is like to here. That's how big this cup is.
Use it for water. I'll encourage
There's
more
water in it right now. Yeah.
Than coffee drinking. Yeah, so that's awesome.
You should have one cup of coffee and I'm good.
Yeah.
So what's happening in your world? Anything?
There's all kinds of things going on. So I think I mentioned last time that I've been having some foot thing. I don't know if I mentioned it recording or if we had discussed it afterwards. But I've looked at my book, and I've looked at my book, and I've looked at my book. And then
What book are you talking about?
I am talking about The Secret Language of Your Body. So this book.
Inna Segal's the author. Yeah.
Did I get you fast?
Secret Language of Your Body by Inna Segal. Yeah. She's a lady she lives in Australia, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Anyway, so
she's very helpful. I've been doing this. Yeah, I've been doing this, and I've been recognizing quite a few things. So yesterday, Freeman told me to put this little insert into my shoe so it stopped my foot from moving, flexing, and because there's like a joint that's in there, and I probably have sprained it, which I'm sure that's exactly what it was, because now that I put this in there, it's helped. That's a physical thing. You know what I mean? That's on the physical level. On the spiritual level, there's other things going on.
Okay, so let me just pause here for real quick. I know you, because you're gonna have a lot to say. I know it. Even on the physical level, don't allow yourself to suffer.
Exactly, and I was.
Get that right. So get what you need to ease the discomfort. You got a headache, take something for your headache. Whether it's natural or over the counter, whatever you need, whatever you know works. Don't suffer physically.
And it's true.
Okay.
So it's been a week. It had been a week when this happened. And it's like, don't ignore when you're asking from within inside of yourself, because this is what I've been doing. Asking from within inside of myself. I don't understand what's going on. What is this trying to tell me? How can I make it feel better? And here Freeman is, someone from the outside is telling you, hey, let's try this. For a week, punishing myself for what? I don't know. Because I was failing to move forward. There's a million different reasons. Whatever resonates with you when you read any of this stuff, but it's like I recognize that. So it's like finally I take the advice. I put it in yesterday. The whole day I'm like, man, my foot is feeling so much better. So just thinking about that. So when you're sick and you're not feeling good and you have that one moment that something's feeling good, recognizing it and saying it and repeating it, like what does Abraham always say? Milking it, right? Milk it for what it's as long as you can. And you've said the same thing. So it's like I've acknowledged that. So I'm in my processes. Like these are things I've been talking about. I tell other people that you should do this, and then it's like I hadn't been catching myself, but I am now. I'm like seeing what's going on, how fast we manifest things. So I'm sitting here.
Let me interrupt you because I know you just got so much to say. I know it. So I got to get in here while I can. that also, so milking the moment that you do feel good, you want to be in that space. That is also the same as celebrating your wins. We get down on ourselves and we focus on the things we don't get right, and we beat ourselves up for that. We need to shift that mentality, because that's just mindset. It's just programming. And so we got to shift that into every time you have a win, celebrate it right now as much as you can. Like, just really feel into it. Okay, go ahead.
So that's just the appreciation. I'm appreciating that moment. I'm totally understand everything you're saying. But it's like
we're telling the universe we want more of that. We want more of that good feeling stuff. We want more of those wins. We want to experience that more and more and more, because we put our attention on grows.
Exactly. We don't, and unless you've taken the time to pay attention to self and the self-talk that you have, the self-energy that you have, really taking time for yourself, loving yourself, you don't recognize all those things. Like right. You're like on a freaking highway, and things are just flying past you, and you're not even absorbing it or catching it or anything. You're not in the now at all. You're just not. So I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's like, I get back into bed. I'm like, oh man, my foot didn't even hurt at all. Exact thoughts. It didn't hurt at all. Right. So the next time I wake up, my foot's like back to almost the same feeling that it had before, because it's just so simple. I was thinking in my head those words instead of saying, man, my foot still felt so good when I went to the bathroom just now. So it's just catching, I'm getting goosebumps for myself. But it's just catching those moments, right? We're master manifestors. We really are. And it's like, it's being shown all the time, if you want to take the time to listen or look at it.
Well, we're shown these also because, think about this. We're shown in a way that we're ready to expand.
True.
Okay. So you had an experience that really caught your attention because you felt good, but the verbiage you used or the energy you had behind it, now it hurts again. And then you sit with that and go, okay, what is it? Taking responsibility for your own actions. What is it I did that manifested this back? Oh, it's probably the way I used my words.
Yes.
And so I use the word, it doesn't hurt, right? Instead of saying, wow, this really feels great.
Yes.
It's two different energies.
It is.
Feeling great and it doesn't hurt. I mean, when I say it doesn't hurt, like I just feel like I'm going to be pulled down. And when I say it feels great, like I get excited, right? It's just the energy of the words.
It really is. And what do we always hear? I mean, I've heard it for a long time now, for years. The universe doesn't hear don't. It doesn't, won't, can't. It doesn't hear any of that stuff. So whatever you say, whether it's something you want or don't want, and then you're just even taking it further by feeling it, because, well, that's where I've been for a long time. I've been feeling things, but now I'm actually slowing down to feel the things for myself, because I felt them for other people. And now it's learning to just feel it for myself. And I keep saying we don't know it until we slow down, because I'm in a place, like when I have a few days off, the first day off, it's like, usually I'm not getting anywhere. I don't feel like maybe I'm decompressing at that point, or, this is just what I'm acknowledging right now. It doesn't mean that it's not already happening. But it's like by the next day, I'm like writing, I'm like creating, I've slowed down so much that now I'm noticing, wow, all these thoughts are popping into my head. I've got all these ideas. Life is freaking wonderful. It's a great feeling, because you just take that time, like you're just giving time for yourself, but you're acknowledging these things. And it's not something, I would never have noticed these things. I would never have heard these things. I wouldn't have felt this stuff before, because I was just too busy running through life, cleaning, keeping busy, controlling everything. And that's a whole nother story right there.
Well, let's be clear. You're running from yourself.
Truth. And I did it
too.
Yeah, forever, right? I mean, it seemed like forever. Now it's like, here we are in this place that we're able to be whoever we want to be, and it doesn't matter what's going on outside of us. And I used to think that I was weird, because it's like, well, I think differently about a lot of stuff. I think, staying more in the positive. I feel like I'm not saying that there's not stuff going on in the world, but it's like my focusing on that energy doesn't help bring better into the world. It helps bring the same thing into the world. So for me, it's like, I'm like attitude almost like, get that shit out of my face
Yeah.
and bring that
You're
to me
like,
like that.
oh, no.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, that
Nope.
was bad, man. That's bad. Because that's how it feels. For me, that's how it feels. And so and I've noticed before that I would try to push my idea, like, how come you guys can't see it this way? Because we're all freaking different. And that's okay. We all have our own different perspective. And me being who I am anchors so many different things into the world, or it generates so much more energy to the world in a different way. So it's like, man, I feel like I'm like on this, like I was just saying highway, but I feel like I'm like flying through, but all the stuff is like zoom, zoom, like I'm just absorbing all of it so
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. And that happens for me a lot. I'll just internally be contemplating something, asking questions, and then here's your answer. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that was fast. That was great.
So wonderful. And it's so crazy because then it's like you have your mastermind groups, right? So then it presents a group that can present more questions you didn't even think about, like you've talked about. And it's like, I love it because I'm in a place where asking questions about everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I doubt anything, but to me, that's like a way of removing all of the programming that we received when we were younger. So it's like questioning everything. It's not questioning it from a good or a bad energetic space. It's just questioning it from a neutral place. Like, why is it like this? Or why am I here? Or what was my plan coming here? What does this look like in the scheme of things? Like so many different questions that are flowing through me like all the time, unless I keep myself too busy.
Right. And you're going to receive the information from the space you're in. So the information that Bev and I receive now is not information we could receive 5 years ago or 20 years ago, because we were not in the same space mentally. First and foremost, mindset is huge, and then your emotional state and physical state and your spiritual state. We would not have been in the space with ourselves to receive the information we're receiving today. So when I was around 31, okay, 20 years ago. It's funny to say that. 20 years ago. No, I did not walk uphill in the snow both ways to school.
just one way in my imagination.
Anyway, 20 years ago, I was being told I was meant to be do energy work and be a teacher. 20 years ago, I was not in a space to receive that. I denied it. I said, there's no way under the sun I'm going to do that. I didn't want the responsibility of the possibility of saying something wrong to somebody. Like, I was like, no, because I was an introvert. I'm like, introvert, we don't do these things. We don't stand in front of groups of people and teach. No. It's like, So I wasn't in a space to receive that. Fast forward 5 years, I was like, maybe I am a teacher, because I'd already started working with energy and I was already talking to people. And I was like, maybe I am meant to be a teacher. Fast forward 5 more years, I'm teaching, right? And so I've been teaching. And so recognize that we have questions, but the questions are based on where we're at that time with ourselves. And as you move through, so it's like school. It's like you go to, maybe you went to preschool, then kindergarten, first grade, right? And then you go through the primary school, intermediate school, high school, maybe you moved on to college. So you have to think about that in terms of spiritual aspects and learning about universal knowledge and learning about law of attraction and manifesting. And you can only receive in the moment with where you're at. Because now, like the questions I'm asking now, they weren't in my wheelhouse then, because I had to start from the beginning. to understand some of this aspects, some of the foundations. And now I've got the foundation, and it's really based on what works for me. So Bev and I have these conversations. We have these conversations on a weekly basis to share with you. We have our own conversations off camera whenever we talk. And the questions that we ask are way above and beyond what I ever thought I would be asking. But I'm on a journey, Bev's on a journey, just like each of you that are listening are on a journey. And it's what feels good to you, what resonates with you, what feels true for you right now. Because what felt true to me 5, 10, or 20 years ago has all shifted with where I'm at now. And it's saying, I am open to receiving more information to build upon what I already believe to be true for me. And just because it's true for me doesn't mean it's true for you or anybody else. This is what works for me. And as long as I feel good and I'm treating other people well, we're good. I'm not pushing anything upon anybody else. It's just being open to receiving other information. So keep that in mind, that you want to be open to more information. I didn't get the information 15 years ago, and now today saying, oh, well, that's what I learned 15 years ago. So that's just the way it is. No, I've been open for evolution because we are always changing. We are always evolving. More information is coming forward. All the spiritual teachers, all the teachers are asking questions. There's teachers that are, the mentors that I follow, and I have watched them evolve in the information that they share when they teach. So as they receive it, that trickles down to the teachers that are in a space to receive the information. Well, while we are receiving this information, they're already receiving other information, and it just keeps flowing down, right? So we keep elevating up. So always be open to hearing new and wonderful stuff. Like, it's like being in a candy store. I'm like, oh, that was good. That was so good. It's so yummy.
It kind of makes me, when you're saying all this stuff, it makes me almost even question more things. Like, because I know, like you said, I mean, our information right now could be different from yesterday. I mean, just the way we feel, what we resonate with, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We've been trained our whole lives that like you just said, that's the way it is. Science is this way. It has evolved in a lot of ways, but there's some ways it hasn't evolved. Governments, so politics, religion, like so many things have been kept in such a way. I don't even know the right words to use for that, as far as, you know, just kind of keeping you in a box basically with this information. But if we're all part of a collective consciousness, and it's like when we're constantly changing things, or the information that we're all figuring out or finding out or whatever is into that collective consciousness. So everything is constantly evolving, and it's interesting to me that some of these things haven't evolved, just like some people haven't evolved. They don't want to have change. But like you said, change is like the excitement. That is like being in the candy store. You never know what you're going to find. And it's like trying so many different things and just being so curious about everything. The simplest things. Well, why did that flower grow right there? How come that flower can grow out here in the middle of a desert, but you don't see anything else? You know, how come I plant this over here? It doesn't want to grow. But if I just throw the seeds up in the air and they just somehow, next thing you know, I see a bunch of freaking California poppies growing everywhere. Or, you know, it's just.
Or the birds eat it, plant it somewhere else.
That's true. Because it's like, well, and I even have seen a friend recently, he's like, in his garden, he's like, well, I'm currently growing celery and I never planted it. And so here we are.
Here we are.
So it's funny. So it's funny. But it's like everything's constantly evolving. And if we can balance ourselves on this magic carpet is what I think about. It's not being on some solid foundation that's never going to change, because it's got to change. Everything's got to change. Otherwise, we stay in the same way that we've always been. And there's got to be a better terminology, but it's like I'll even see it on Facebook. Someone will say, "Hey, black sheep, how you doing out there?" You know, because that's how I felt for most of my life with my family. I felt like I was the black sheep, but that has like, to me, that has like negative connotations to it, and it's not a negative thing. I'm paving the way. Like I'm paving the way for those that are around me, whether it was my family, my current friends, whoever's in my moment at that moment when I'm experiencing, because everything that's happening is because it's all an aspect of myself. I mean, I'm going all over the place now, but it's just another aspect of self. It's like it's everything that's introduced to you that helps you to present more questions, like about everything. And one thing I've noticed about myself is, okay, so I've seen someone and they would tell me that I'm an energy healer, or they would tell me, I'm going to be working with one of my clients that's a friend that will be working on something with the tree of life. And so in my mind would be like, oh, I wonder what that is. And I'm like thinking about all these things it could be, instead of being like, okay, universe, what are you trying to tell me? Like, what is this about? So catching yourself too, because it's like I was always formulating, guessing what the thing might be, instead of, like having a present in front of you and guessing, instead of just being
Open.
like excited about it's going to be a surprise, not knowing, but asking, oh, I wonder what it is. I wonder what this is going to do. I wonder how it's going to affect people. It's like so many different things. So, but I've just caught myself for that limiting still. It's another phase of the I know. Oh, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it could either be this, or this, or it could be something else.
And when we limit ourselves, we're just putting blinders on to say, this is the way it should show up in this box, where the universe says, oh no, sister, there are cajillion, bazillion, trillions of ways we could present this to you. And we've already presented to you in thousands of ways, and you aren't getting it yet. So we're still throwing it out there. And you could think of it as breadcrumbs. They're like they have a path lined up for us, but it's up to us to follow those crumbs, right? And I'm going to use this as an example, and if you feel like I'm out of context, then correct me. Bev and I have known each other. Well, we met each other years ago, but in the space we were in, neither one of us could accept each other. And it wasn't that it was a bad thing. It was just like, oh, this is my wife, so-and-so. It's like, hey, and I wasn't a real people person per se, because I was still an introvert unless I was drinking. And so with the drinking, I've killed a lot of, brain cells, and I'm replenishing them. So there's distance, time, years between when Bev and I actually met and actually connecting. There's a difference. We met, but the time that we connected was about 5 years ago.
I want to say 5 years ago, but it could be like 6 years ago. I mean, okay. Time just goes by so fast. So.
And Bev and I have had many conversations, and I've asked Bev, hey, you want to do this? And she's like, I don't think so. Okay. So then time goes by and we have a conversation. I'm like, hey, Bev, let's do it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to. Okay. Right. So those breadcrumbs. So we could say spirit's working through me to present to Bev, it's time to do this. It's time to do this. It's time to do this. But she has free will. She has free choice. So it's like all of us do. And trust me, I did that too, just like with the teaching and the energy, being a teacher and the energy work. I said, no, for a long time. And, but I had people in front of me saying, man, Amie, you do a lot of good work. You should be a teacher. You should do this. And I'm just like, no way, Jose, it's not happening. Well, I did the same thing with Bev. I presented, she made the choice. I back off. Next conversation. I present it. She makes the choice, not the right time. Right? So we've been playing this dance for a while. And just a little over a year ago, she agreed to do a podcast. So, it's the breadcrumbs, and breadcrumbs can show up in so many different ways. And a lot of the time, when it's something that you're meant to do, people will show up in your life to guide you, to suggest to you, to offer up information or direct you, right? But again, being an introvert and not comfortable in my own skin, I was not ready to be in front of people. I was not ready to take on responsibility for other people. And it's similar lines with Bev. When I presented, she wasn't ready. We can't push people to do things, but we can keep suggesting. And the more you hear something, so let me tell you this, in sales, okay, marketing, business marketing, when you're marketing yourself, your product, your service, people have to hear it at least 7 times. That's average. 7 times before they'll purchase. So over the course of the years, with 6 years with Bev, I've presented over and over and over and over. But when I say it and then somebody else says it and then somebody else says it, right? She's got to hear it from multiple people for it to start to sink in and go, wow, maybe I am made for this. Maybe this is part of my purpose. So it's still, I have to honor the space that Bev is in with herself. I could push and push and push, but then she's going to resist, and then that is going to cause possible discord and, you know, be uncomfortable, because she's just be like, what, you're being way too aggressive and I can't handle this and I'm out, right? So it's honoring the space she's in, just like people honored the space I was in. And when you're ready, you're ready. And you may not be ready in this lifetime, but that's your choice.
It is.
So anyway.
And the more you push against something, like for me specifically, because I do feel energy, the more that someone comes pushing it, they don't have their intention maybe for the best intention, but the energy by itself is pushing. And so if there's pushing, I'm automatically going to push back. I'm automatically going to push away from it. There's so many different things that are coming up when you're telling me this stuff, because on an energetic level, maybe I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready on a confident energy level. But I built that when we hear it over and over and over again, we start building a confidence and think, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe this is possible. So it's such a huge thing on such a global scale, because it's one little thing. It's just like what we were talking about earlier, even going through the whole process of listening to myself. I'm healing so many aspects of things in my life that it's going to trickle back to my ancestors and to my kids. I'm healing that I'm listening to myself. I'm healing that I'm listening. I'm healing that I can feel myself, because we haven't been in this space for so long in our lives. Most of us haven't. And it's like we're just like all these things that we're picking up and learning, this energy, you being laid into my place, really planting these seeds in my mind all that time. And it's like energetically, I wasn't ready. But I would hear you, but I wasn't ready. And it's not to take things personal. And I say that because I have been that person that's taken things personal my whole life.
Yeah.
Like anything that anybody did, I thought that was against me. And we can call that could have been narcissistic or whatever, but it really felt like somebody was doing something against me. When somebody would drink, that I was in a relationship for a long time, would drink, I felt like that was against me. Mm-hmm. But in truth, I was taking it personal, and it had nothing to do with me. It didn't. And it's like it's taken me some time and some life experience to kind of get me to this place to recognize that, and then take the responsibility off of myself, and then still see where I'm still doing those things, or have been doing those things, and how now that I'm healing these things, it's just fallen away. It doesn't have to be in my experience anymore. The deprogramming, we can call it whatever we want to, but it's like this whole thing, every little thing is an aspect. And the whole time I was probably asking for more, like there's got to be more to life. What else could I be doing besides what I'm doing right now? And it's like you kept presenting. The universe is like, we're going to put Amie right here, and she's going to tell you what could be different for you right now. That's right.
And come on, like, girl, come on.
You can listen to it, or you don't have to listen to it. Because for me, I feel like a lot of it boiled down to my confidence into listening to myself, confidence into trusting in myself. It's like there's so much more that's going on. The small thing was you kept trying to get me to do videos and have these conversations because we were already having them. But the big thing is that there was such a bigger picture. Like it was about me trusting myself. It's about me, and if I don't trust myself, if nobody trusts themselves, then they don't love themselves. They can't. The intuition that comes in, they aren't going to listen to it and follow through on it. And the confidence, we have to have the confidence. Otherwise, those messages that are coming in, we're just like pushing them away or throwing them under the rug because we don't have the confidence to step into our own power yet. So it's like all the stuff that's going on all the time. It's such a bigger picture. It seems like it's such a small thing. So take the baby steps. Like that's like my big thing right now, because that's what we've been doing for a long time and we're not even realizing what I'm doing. If you are a person that's afraid to leave your house, walk out your door for 5 seconds and turn them out. Walk out for 1 second and turn them out and walk back in and celebrate that you just walked out for a second. Celebrate and appreciate that one moment that you were out there. You know, it's because I mean, everything's kind of rotating back to where we started, but it's a form of appreciation. Appreciate that, you know, you may have felt that you made some bad decisions, but knowing in hindsight, you probably made the best decision possible in that time. And maybe for me at the time, drinking was my way of handling things. That was my way of getting myself out, so that people could see me and then say something like, man, you really are funny. Well, yeah, I'm a smart ass. I was when I was drinking. I mean, there's ways to be funny without having to be self-destructive, because those are words too, but it's like that was just one little baby step that got me out into another thing. And some things that we think that are so bad that are going on, it's just another way of moving us past some more hurdles that we thought we had that aren't even really there. We just chose to have those hurdles. And now it's been brought to the surface so you can actually see, hey, I can jump right over this. Oh, maybe I'll just walk around it.
So let me ask you this. When you decided to do massage, did you know how to do massage?
No.
Yeah, to learn.
Well, I say no, but I was giving foot rubs and back rubs as a kid. Can you rub my shoulders for 5 minutes? Or for 10, 15 minutes, I'll give you $5.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was a little bit of stuff, but
it just brought comfort to them because they needed it.
Yes.
So, but you didn't know, did you know all the muscles and the bones and the meridian lines and energy points and chakras and anything?
No.
So you went to school, and through practice and practice and practice and practice in school, you built up some self-confidence.
Yes.
True? Okay.
Yes.
And then they're like, okay, you graduated, have fun, good luck. Okay. You have to build a business. If you need a business license, tax ID numbers, if you need an accountant, if you need an attorney, if you need, I'm just thinking on business scale, a space to do massage, you need all the equipment and the supplies and meet all the, you know, county or city standards, and right, there's this whole other, all these other things. And so you get one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time, and you build your confidence. And then the clients start coming in, and each client, right? The more you practice, the better you get. The more you practice, the better you get. So now, after doing massage for 7, 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah. Right around there.
You're like one of the, as to my knowledge, from my experience and who people I've been with, you are like the top of the list because of how you do your massage, how you listen to yourself, you listen to the other person's body, you listen to your energy, you listen to the other person's energy, right? There's all these components, but this isn't the whole package that you had the day you walked in or the day you decided to go to massage school.
Absolutely.
The day you were even contemplating, like, okay, I'm going to put the money up for this. Like, you're nervous that you're putting the money up for it. That's the space you're in, right? And so then you go through the steps and built from the foundation and start building up. So that's how you build your confidence. An introvert doesn't just become a teacher. I had to build my confidence. I did that through network marketing. by having to stand in front of a group of women and do presentations of products that I really didn't even know that much about, to be honest. And I stuttered and stammered and shook like a leaf and all of it. But I knew that if moving in the direction of being a teacher is what I desired, I needed to build my confidence up in being in front of people. And so it's taking the steps. Confidence is huge.
It really is.
If you've had an abusive childhood, I can guarantee you your self-confidence is about smaller than a grain of sand, because I've been there. And then, you know, you just add all the arguments, all the abuse, all the negativity, all the drama onto, like, yeah, we just introverts, we just go right into our shell where it's safe, and we don't want to cause any discord. We want the waters to be calm. We don't say anything. We don't want to see, right? There's all these things that an introvert carries, all these traits that we carry. So it takes quite a bit. It did for me anyway. It doesn't have to be a long, treacherous journey. But it took me quite a bit to build my confidence in energy work. I started with energy work and just tuning in. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, I don't even know she's telling me I'm supposed to be an energy healer. I don't even know what that means, right? And she said, practice. Just get with your friends.
And then it's like, practice what?
Yeah, get with your friends and family and just practice feeling their energy. Okay.
But the thing is, you had been doing it all along. It just, the awareness wasn't there because I guess I'm saying you, but it's like, I didn't take the time. My awareness was always there. I always knew when there was discord or happiness or I think we all know, we're all aware, but it's like, but you don't stop and slow down and pay attention to it. And then some people are I think it's so amazing at a young age that they can sit, and that's why being an introvert's a wonderful thing, because you start noticing things, you start seeing all these things. It was already happening. Like, it was already happening, but the awareness that what was happening, like, what is this that I'm feeling? It, you know, just so many, it can present so many different questions because it's so foreign, because and it's not foreign. We are taught outside of it. We are taught away from it, not on purpose, but because everyone thought that they knew, you know, do it this way. If everybody just does it this way, everything's going to be fine. That's not the way things are supposed to be. Just things are evolving too quickly.
And you want to know what's good with it? Not only are introverts good at reading energy, it's because we're very observant and we listen. So I was doing that my entire childhood. I would sit back in a room full of adults, listen, and observe. I was doing it. But then as I got older, and then as an adult, actually started in my teens, but having all the stories in my head and all the negative emotions that went with it, I was chaos. So I would still sit and listen and observe, but internally I had this hurricane going on that was very destructive, and I gave a lot of attention to it. So even though I was listening and observing outside of me, I wasn't doing it inside of me. So when I learned to calm the storm inside of me, that's when congruency happened in experiencing other people's energy. In hearing, I was listening, but now I'm hearing what people are saying. There's a difference.
There is.
Right? And all of that just came with practice, all of it. And so if your self-confidence is low, you got to start somewhere and start building on it. And the way we build confidence is just practicing something over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until it's like, I got this. I can do this.
Yeah, you don't even think about it anymore. You just do.
They just do.
which is so funny. So you talked about being introverted. So I think a lot of times, because I would sit back and watch, I know that I would listen, but I wasn't hearing. But I would sit back and listen, or I would pay attention, because to me it's like double dutch, right? Which I probably could even jump rope. I mean,
I never
it
did.
would be, I'd be like, somehow I'd be tied around my neck. But it's like knowing when to jump in. So yeah, so I would sit and watch these people and stuff and see how were, like we talked before, a long time ago, it used to be the chameleon. See how I could blend in. See how I could blend in so I wouldn't be noticed. So, because that to me, and I'm just figuring this out right this second, is that introversion. Like if you're forced into groups like that, a lot of times I would be back out, but I would be watching and seeing where could I fit into this? Where could I jump in?
Yep.
Or now I'm part of the group where I'm fitting in. And I think we've done that. I had done that for so long in my life that you lose who you really are because you're always trying to fit in. You're always trying to, be that other piece of the harmony jumping in. And it's like I was a harmony all by myself without even knowing that I was.
Well, we don't know.
It's only taken me 51 years.
Yeah, we don't know where we fit in because, I mean, in my experience, I have stepfathers who were mentally and emotionally abusive.
Yeah. So we didn't
fit in with them. My mom's unavailable because she's dealing with their shit. I'm not fitting in with her. Right. And so it's, you end up being a chameleon, figuring out how can I fit in? How can I conform to these people so I can fit in with them and feel accepted and loved?
Yeah, because we felt like we had to conform because that was the only way that you were accepted and loved. And now I'm at a space now, I don't want to fit in. We were never meant to fit in. We were never meant to fit into what someone else's ideal was of how things were supposed to be. Exactly.
We were not
so crazy to me. I mean, like
in a box.
Yeah, ever. We were never, that's why it felt so uncomfortable and everything else to make yourself do these things. To make yourself, I'm seeing this right now. I'm like, I can see so many different things of how I was in these spaces, how I was trying to make myself fit in, how I was trying to make myself acceptable. When really what really mattered was, I feel like a lot of these situations were happening to let me know you don't fit in. There's nothing wrong with you. That's okay. But we're only now to this point. I'm only now to this point where I can actually recognize I was never meant to fit in. I don't believe that anybody's meant to fit in. When you're trying to fit in, you're not being true to yourself at all.
That's true. So now, well, we've been doing that our entire life until we start asking questions. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why? I mean, really, and it's again, it's going back to the kindergarten questions. Why am I hanging out with these people? Do I really like them? What do we really have in common? Like the people I was hanging out with during the time when I was really drinking alcohol, that's what we had in common. And talking about everybody. I mean, there now, and that was a big circle. That was a lot of people. And now my circle is very small because I want to have conversations like this. Because this is a mental and emotional, it's actually physical in the sense of the emotion of the joy, and also spiritual. Like they're all, I just lost the word, stimulating. These conversations are stimulating because to me, these are deeper conversations that we could all be having, but instead people want to talk about the weather. People want to talk about other people. I'm just like, okay, and a lot of times when I'm around people like that, I'm fairly quiet. Because I'm in my head, I'm having other conversations with my universe, right? I'm like, okay, universe, why am I here? Why am I sitting here with these people? I have nothing in common with them.
You don't, but you're still co-creating.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just there to hold the space for them if they're in Discord. I don't know, right? Every situation's different. But if I'm in the situation, there's a reason why I'm there.
Yeah.
So I don't discount that I'm there, but I'm not being stimulated on the levels that I desire from these people. So I think it would be like very highly intelligent aliens sitting with us, and then there's like, yeah, we're not resonating with you because we're on a much higher intelligent level than you are. So we don't have time to talk
Or
about.
higher vibrational. Yeah,
Yeah,
or higher vibrational. And to me, it's like we can look at it like just like a mastermind group. It's just a different presentation.
right.
So even when we're with people that maybe don't vibrate with it, because we're there for a reason. There is always a reason. But for me, it's like because I question everything these days. It's like they might say something that I might be like, oh, I wonder how I've ever done that, or I wonder how we could rise above that, or I want, there's just so many. Just like you said, why is this showing up in my experience? You know why it's here. I mean, you don't know why it's here, but you're there. You know there's a reason.
Right.
So it's like another creation of it. It's another way of us creating it's another mastermind group. It's just, it maybe isn't, you might have to dig a little bit for the questions, or because it's like I'll read something and you've said before, there may be one word that shows up that was beneficial that you resonate with, that helps you ask for more, or helps, it gives you the answer that you were looking for. It could be sentences, it could be another writer, it could be it could be so many millions of things. There's always a reason, there's always a give and take in those situations, in every situation. Every time there's a coming together, because no matter what, we're still co-creating. One feels better than the other for sure. Like when these conversations that we have feel amazing. They're amazing. They're because we're co-creating. And other ones might be a little bit more abrasive maybe, but you're still co-creating, because something is being presented to you for you to ask why, or for you to see solutions for. Always.
Always. And it could be, I mean, there's yeah, like you said, there's millions of reasons why I'm there. It could be for me to hold space for them. It could be for me to start the conversation. It could be maybe they say something and I help them see a different perspective. There's so many reasons why I'm in that experience. It's up to me to tune into how do I want to contribute to the experience. I can just listen and be an observer, which I'm really good at. I'm really good at that. So, which helps me gain information. And then, like you said, then I can take that information and ask questions to receive information to move forward. And that is brought forward in this. It's brought forward in my classes, workshops, retreats, one-on-one coaching. So, and I've had that happen almost on a weekly basis, Bev. We have a conversation. So for us, it's Tuesday. We record this on Tuesday morning. We have a conversation. Guaranteed later in the day, or within 24 hours, I'm having a conversation with somebody about the same topics that you and I just talked about.
That's awesome.
Every week.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, wow, Bev and I just talked about this. This is so cool. Here I am having the same conversation. So maybe it's, I'm having a conversation with you. We're bouncing it off of each other. We're getting clarity. So then when the universe brings this other person or people in front of me, now I am more clear because we've already had the conversation and now I can present it to them. So that's just one scenario. There could be millions of scenarios. So
yeah. And the awesome thing is, because we've slowed down enough to have this awareness, that even when I was talking, this happened to me quite twice this past week when I was having clients. The first client, we're talking and we're like talking about clearing energy, and she said that she had gotten sage, but she has problems, breathing in certain smells or whatever causes a reaction from her body. Then she talked about that she had got Palo Santos, and I said, well, maybe try doing it in the garage. And I said, well, really, you don't have to use anything. It's really intent. And I said, it was shown to me a while ago that I could go sit in the center of a house, which I guess would be the heart of the home. And now that I'm processing this as I'm saying it out loud, but I could be sitting in the center of a house and calling on my universal team, God and my angels, or, whatever, to clear all this energy. And I'm telling her this stuff, and I said, and then ask for the portals to be shut up. And I'm like, I ask myself, why did I say portal? So I caught myself saying it, and I'm like, you have portals in your house. Portals are not always bad. Really, it's going to resonate with whatever energy is being presented in the home, right? If it's a negative energy, it's going to present negative energy. But it's like I told her, you need to do these things. So I questioned that. It was like, it was just funny to me, but it's not so much of what I was saying or that I was giving her this advice or that I had a knowing. It really wasn't about that. It was about my awareness of it. And it was about building my confidence in it. My second client comes in and we're talking about something, and it's not like I've been talking about this stuff to anybody. I'm like I know that she's looking for guidance, but I didn't know that she was looking for guidance. My soul knows.
Right.
And it's like I'm telling her this stuff again. I'm like, well, if you just go to Cafe Astrology and then do this report, I said, it just kind of just take whatever resonates with you, but it kind of tells you a lot of stuff. And I'm like, again, I'm asking myself, why am I telling her this stuff? Like and I know why. I know because she's doing some searching, and it's like from the outside, this client always seems to be bubbly and happy. And I mean, I know there's more to it, but this is the energy that's presented, which is interesting to me because we can still present a different energy. It's almost like layers of ourselves, because it was like an energy was presented, but I know there's something deeper within inside of there why a lot of the stuff's going on. And then I'm presented I had brought the Secret Language of Your Body book in, and she was having problems in this place that she'd had problems before. And I talked about it being in her, it's in the center of your power energy. It's your power chakra where it's showing up at. And it was behind her, so that I know that she's not leaning back into her power. She's trying, but this is not, but we go back to baby steps, because I didn't have all this stuff before. I would want this knowledge before, but we have all the knowledge that we're seeking. It's already there. We just got to allow it. So I'm at a place now where I'm allowing it, and I'm witnessing it, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is what's going on. This life is so freaking fun. Like that's what was crossing my mind. If we are in this moment like this all the time, it's amazing. And I feel like we can be in this place all the time. It's just being in a place of curiosity.
Right. And we're in a space now that like portals isn't a common word you would use every day. Like you're just like, where did that word come from? Right? Why did I say this to them?
Yeah.
And there was another question of, oh, okay, so clarity. Okay, she's probably got portals in her home. Great. Well, this is how information comes when we're enjoying our life, when we're tapped in. Abraham says tapped into, tuned in, turned on.
Yes.
And that means we have access to all information and knowledge. We have access to it. Past, present, or future. We have access to all of it. And so it's the same with sitting with a client, coaching someone. And I did this yesterday. I was just using something as an example, and I said a specific word, and I just went on. She's like, oh my God, it's so funny you said that, because blah, 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 blah. I was just like, it's funny to her that I said that, but to me, I'm like, no, I'm tapped into your energy, and the information's coming to me in a way I can present it to you so you can hear me.
Yes. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And when you allow the information to come, that is so much easier than bumping around life just trying to figure it out. Like, that's why we've been coming back to, I think we've been talking about this for a few weeks now, is ask questions. You got to ask, because I've been asking a question to my universal team for some clarity, and I purchased a class to attend a class. Well, I didn't attend it virtually, but I'm watching the recording now. And the question was answered. I was just like, there you go. When I was ready to be in a space to receive the answer, I received it, because this was recorded a week and a half ago, and I'm just now listening to it. So it's one of those things of allowing myself to be in a space to receive the answer that I've been asking. And it really got my attention. I was like, wow, okay, there you go. There's your answer. So, and it really is that. It's just so simple.
It is simple. Because you're never missing out. Like if you think that you're missing out, you are. It's an energy. And that's been something that's been presented to me too. If you think that something's going on, then something's going on. If you think that a relationship is bad, then you're going to be shown every possible thing that's bad. But that goes back to appreciation. If we stop and think about all the things that are good, that creates more of that same. You're going to see all the things that are good. So it's like, where do you want to direct your attention at? And for us, I feel like that we go into this neutral place. It's a love place. We can label it whatever we want to label it, but you're in a connection. You're in a connection with the collective consciousness, which you can't be aware of it while you're in it, honestly, because it's like I've recognized a lot of these things, but only if we slow down enough. And slowing down by knowing that you don't know everything, which was me, asking questions, and because it's like there's been bigger questions that I've asked that this whole process is giving us confidence in, and I'm sure you have too, like hearing your clients say the same thing, because it's like it happens all the time, every time that you say just the right thing and they're like, oh my God, that I just pulled that card this morning. That's exactly what it said to me. Or, this is happening all the time, and it's showing us, but it's also showing those people that are in front of us. And maybe they're like, you didn't really think that. No, seriously, I really did. And whether they get it or don't get it, that's their personal journey, but you planted a seed. It's like, it's happening all the time. It's been happening to us. We plant them for seeds for everybody else. You've been doing it for me. I do it for you. We do it for everybody all along. We're like constantly like slingshotting somebody forward, and then they grab a hold of us and slingshot us forward. Like we're constantly going through this.
Like a roller derby.
Yes, it is, but not as hostile. But maybe with a positive outcome always. Not to take down the other person, but to slingshot each other forward, because it's but that's hilarious. Because I visually can see that happening. You grabbing a hold of me and like, and I'm like, I can around and grab a hold of you. But that's what we're doing. It's what we're constantly motivating each other. We're moving each other forward, and we can't. I say can't. The best way to stay in that space, because I'm not going to go the other direction. The best way to stay in that space is to constantly be appreciate the person that's in front of me right now, which is you. Appreciating this home that I'm in right now, because it's sheltering me and I have beautiful windows and views. Appreciating that I have a voice, that I'm finding my voice, because I didn't always have this voice. And appreciating that I'm having all these relationships, because it's helping me create a better communication, which I didn't have, because it was baby steps. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like so ridiculous and so stupid so many times, and now it's like, why are you questioning that? You know that it happened in your experience because that was the best way that both of you could hear it.
Right.
Or whoever else heard it. So wonderful.
All right. There you go. If you didn't get anything out of this episode, I don't know what to tell you.
Because even I got stuff out of this episode.
It's like, come on. All right. We've been doing this over a year. There's got to be something.
That's right. That's right. And you're ready to hear it. You're ready to hear it. And you know someone else is going to flash in your mind, and they're ready to hear it. They may not look at it, just like Amie would send me videos about. So for me, it was like introducing Abraham Hicks to me through Esther. So I first got it, and it was like, I didn't get it. I probably listened to a couple minutes of it and stopped, but I still had it. And then you sent me another thing, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, this has been here the whole time? Yeah, I just haven't been here the whole time. So I couldn't hear it. And then it's like I go back to see that stuff. So don't give up on people. You're planting a seed. So you may send it to them, and they may not go to it. And I have to tell you, Amie, you put some of the best, like, catchy phrases on things, like on our videos. I'm like, I would totally watch that. Well, I don't have to watch it. I was already there, but it's like, you really do. You really, that's like a natural for you. It seems natural, but I think it's been baby steps for you because I've been along this journey for you, but you are freaking like, I want to go watch it. Like, I want to go watch it. I'm like, wait a minute, I was there.
Well, maybe we need to
listen. Your role, man.
We don't really know what we said. We just said it.
That's right. It's true. Because we just flowing.
We're flowing with the conversation here, people. This is what we do.
That's right.
And so like Bev said, you probably know somebody who could use this information as well, that they're asking the questions and these answers are being presented through our conversations. It doesn't mean it's the be all do all,
No.
but at least it's a direction that we're giving through our conversations. And so be open to sharing these videos or these recordings with your friends or family, or even somebody you know who just has an interest of raising their vibration and connecting to collective consciousness and knowledge, right? Having knowledge. So so please, we ask that you share our videos with people who you may feel is open to receive the information that we bring forward. We'd also like to hear from you, so you could leave your questions or comments in the comment box down below. You can also email us at amieandbev@gmail.com, AMIEANDBEV@gmail.com. And we will definitely get back to you with the best knowledge that we are open to receiving in the moment.
That's right. So choose to have an amazing day, an amazing week, an amazing moment. All of them.
All of it.
That's right.
And if there's something you want us to talk about, we are more than happy. I don't know, hoppy. We can be rabbits too, I guess. We're more than happy to blend in the information that we receive for any topics that you're interested in. So with that, thank you so much for your time and energy. I hope we bring value to your life and helping you navigate this earth plane journey. And have a great week.
Love your face.
Love your face.